So I am out here getting ready to canvass for Pete Buttigieg, and this is some tips and tricks for how to canvass and ways to be successful as you represent the campaign. I have a ton of experience canvassing, and I still get nervous knocking on doors a little bit, so I still stop and I do a little wiggle and a little dance and get all my energy out. So now that I'm ready to knock on doors, I have my number from my organizer to log into the Minivan app, and I want to show you a little bit about how the Minivan app works. It has a script of what you should be saying. Obviously, make it your own. You are not a robot. You are your own person, and you're going to tell your story because that's what brought you to Pete. And so then I can read through the script, and then I like to work with a partner and practice what I would say. And then I hide the script. It's way faster to put in the data once I'm done talking to a person because I don't need to scroll through the script once I'm comfortable with it. You can see all of the addresses in a list of who I'm going to knock on their door, or I can do by the map and zoom in, and then it will show me all of the houses I'm going to go talk to. The number indicates how many people live at that address. If I click on it, it will tell me their name, their registration, and some notes of any other canvassing. And so now I'm ready to go knock on doors. If you are with a partner, which I highly recommend if you're a little bit nervous, make sure that the person that is planning to talk is on the handle side of the door, not the hinge side, which is not something we generally think about when we walk up to a door because we're not often knocking on strangers' doors. You're ready to knock on a friend's door and you're ready to hug that person. So whoever is going to talk, be on the handle side, and the person not talking is on the hinge side of the door. So I'm about to approach a door for canvassing for Pete. I'm on my app and I have the address. I've checked it and it says Lauren lives there. She is a Democrat. She has voted in the last couple of elections. I've looked through the notes and now I'm ready to go knock on her door and have a conversation about Pete. So as I approach the door, one of the important things I want to do is I'm going to knock and ring the doorbell at the same time so that if the doorbell doesn't work, I'm only harassing them one time to make sure that they heard that I'm here on their doorstep. Once I knock on the door, I'm going to take 3 steps back just to make sure that when they open the door, I'm not right there in their face, which is really important. When I have my clipboard, I want to keep it down to the side. A lot of people see that as a soliciting thing, that I'm there to sell them. This is just my collection of resources. It's not about the conversation, so I want to keep it down to the side, out of sight, and only use it when I need to leave literature, not really for the conversation with the person at the door. Hi, are you Lauren?
I am.
Hi, my name is Julia. I am a volunteer with Pete for America.
Okay.
And we're out here talking to voters today since the election is coming up on March 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought much about who you're going to be voting for?
A little bit. Not really.
Have you watched any of the debates?
I haven't.
Totally understand. Life is crazy busy.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you have some kids.
Yes.
They keep your hands full.
It's busy.
Definitely. So can I ask what are some of your top values as a voter?
Healthcare is really important to me. And education is important. Just equal rights for everyone. And I think just moving away from being so negative and just the political climate right now is probably my number one.
Those are some really heavy stuff going on in the world right now. Absolutely. So one of the things that brought me to Pete were all of those issues for sure. I teach high school. And so the education piece and healthcare with my family being very sick. So one of Pete's big things for healthcare is Medicare for all who want it, so that the people who want Medicare for all can get it, and then those of us that like our private health insurance get to keep it. What do you think about that?
I agree. I like the health insurance that I have. We have good health insurance through my husband's work, so I'm happy keeping the health insurance we have and want everybody to be able to have health insurance.
Fantastic. So I would encourage you to vote on March 3rd. You'll have your ballot sometime this week.
Okay.
And then if you need help getting it to a ballot drop box, you can go to Pete's website and we'll help you get that turned in.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions I can answer about Pete?
I don't think so.
Okay. We have some events coming up for future debate watch parties, and we would love to have you come join us so we get to know the color for Pete people on the ground.
Okay.
So I just finished a really good conversation with Lauren, but the most important thing, once I finish, even though I do need to record data into the minivan app, I want to come all the way over here so I'm not still on her property while I'm doing my data. Right, so that is her house. I want to make sure that I'm not in her space while I'm then standing on my phone to go into my app and mark details about our conversation. So once I get down there, I want to stand between the two houses, not on her driveway, not really on the sidewalk, because she's still here on her Saturday, probably sitting in her living room. And so somewhere in between, so I'm not in front of the next house that I might be talking to, and not still in her space, because we finished that conversation and she was gracious enough to let me have that conversation with her. So then I want to go into my app. She is still an undecided voter, but she is leaning Pete. So I'll go into my app and I will mark undecided, and that Pete is in her top 3, and that she has committed to vote. And then I'll save that, and then I can check what my next door is so that I can move on. Looking at my next house, I have it, and they have a Color It Up for Pete sign in their front yard. And so I don't want to skip that house, even though I know that they are a huge supporter. I'm still going to knock on their door because they might have a spouse who doesn't support Pete yet, who might not be on board. They might not be connected to our local grassroots group yet, and this would be a great way to connect them, and we might find another canvasser to come help us get the word out. So I'm definitely going to knock on this door. I'm going to go talk to Linda and have a conversation. On this door, I can tell I'm kind of in the sun. I want to try to make sure I remove my sunglasses so it's a little more welcoming when I have that conversation with her. Oh, puppies! Puppies!
Sorry, she's crazy.
No, we're
Adorable. Hi, sweetheart.
Hi, my name's Julia. I'm a volunteer with Pete for America. We're out here in your neighborhood today talking to voters about the upcoming primary election on March 3rd.
Yes.
Have you thought much about the primary and who you're voting for?
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. There are some really good candidates.
They really are.
I don't know that I'm settled. I've been, really wanted to vote for a woman. I did last time, and I want it to work this time.
Definitely understand that. I definitely am in the same boat. I really wanted a woman last time. And even more so, I definitely thought I was going to be supporting a female candidate this year as well. So for me, that's a huge thing as a woman, that I wanted someone who was going to work for female issues,
Right.
Particularly with reproductive justice for me. That's a huge one. And that actually, ironically, is what drew me to Pete, was his building power plan and his commitment to put 50% women on the judicial bench.
Really?
And to make his cabinet 50% women, which has never been promised before in a political campaign.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like his demeanor.
He's a really good human. What are your other values that really drive you in this election?
Healthcare.
Definitely.
Our healthcare system is so screwed up. So many people go without, but I also know that a lot of people are really happy with what they have.
Yeah.
Actually, I like our insurance. I just, I wish costs were more under control. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely right there with you. My dad is battling cancer,
Yeah.
and he needs Medicare for
sorry.
all. And I like my private health insurance. And that's actually a thing that drew me to Pete, was the Medicare for all who want it, is that I could keep the healthcare I like without having to sacrifice for my dad, which was a really special thing for me, that both of us get what we want out of this plan.
Okay.
So, do you have a plan to vote on March 3rd or before then? Ballots should drop sometime this week.
I usually vote the first day, but
too.
I've been struggling. So I like to vote early.
Definitely.
If I can. If I know. Once I know,
Yeah.
then I do
Well,
it.
definitely make sure you get your ballot in before 7 p.m. on March 3rd.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you need any help getting your ballot to a drop box, we will definitely help you out with that.
Okay.
In the meantime, I would
How would I
love
reach
to leave you with some literature. This
Okay.
AskPeteForAmerica.com.
Okay.
It's a really incredible tool that we've created. It lets you type in a search of any value or question you might have for him, and it will pull up a video cue to when he's talking about it and let you.
So it's him actually speaking.
Yeah, so you get to hear straight from Pete what he thinks of an important issue that you might have, and you can search by keyword or type in a question.
I wish everybody had that.
That's a really cool tool.
That's a good tool.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye. So I just had a great conversation with Linda. And again, I definitely want to step off her porch before I get on my phone and input that data. So I'm going to go all the way down. So I'm in between the houses again to make sure that I'm not intruding on my next door. And I'm done with this door to end it. So if you want to come look at my phone, this is what the minivan app looks like. So I was at 529 and I'm going to open it. I talked to Linda and she is undecided. So I'm going to put undecided. And then Pete is definitely in her top 3 because of our conversation. We did not ask her about volunteering since she's not entirely committed yet. So I'm going to put no. And that is literally all I have to do. I could go into notes and put a little note about interested in a female candidate, just so that if someone comes back and talks to this house again, they would see my note about that. And then I'm going to go back, and Greg was not home. So I'm going to put, I could not reach this contact, not home. And then another trick is her daughter was not here, and I can just mark not home. That is all I have to do in that to mark the data to make sure we know who we talked to. So I've just finished my canvassing shift. So I'm going to head back to my car, and then I'm going to make sure that I sync all of my data so that the campaign knows who we've talked to and where our support is in this neighborhood. So an important thing is, I moved away from the house, especially while I'm doing that, and then I can show you on my list. I'm going to slide over, and then I'm just going to hit sync, and then just going to say all canvas data successfully synced. That sends all that data up to the campaign. So I finished my canvas shift. I had a ton of fun, great conversations out with people. As you can see, I talked to some Pete supporters that were really enthusiastic, and I talked to some people who are still undecided. The most important thing is that we're still following the rules of the road, and that person who was, when I was talking to Linda, who may or may not be on board yet, she is left with a really warm feeling about Pete because I stuck to those rules of the road in that respect, pausing and waiting for her to think through where she's at, because she's obviously struggling with a lot of difficult things, but knows where her values are, and that respect will go a long way when her ballot shows up later this week. Thank you so much. Have a ton of fun.